Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Creative Birth Strategy Podcast. Your host and founder, Joe Scarice, here to provide education, networking, and hopefully creating opportunities. Had a great event yesterday here in Philadelphia at the Mummer Museum. I want to thank everybody that was in attendance. It was an excellent insight, engagement. I think the people that were there really enjoyed the different speakers and the different slices of the pie when in regards to real estate. So we'll do a quick invite for everybody to come in and hopefully get the thing started in a few minutes. Our discussion this morning is discovering your real estate deals, no matter where they are. Because I always feel that there's an opportunity everywhere. People always say, oh, there's nothing really good in our market. I think there's opportunity everywhere, personally. And you just got to look at it with a different set of eyes. So we'll get started here in just a few minutes. I'm pinging people in, but a little tired from yesterday. It was a long day. Started at 5:45 yesterday morning with Yordell Perkins, and we got rolling. And couldn't do it without him. Great business associate, friend, and we collaborated yet again on another successful event. So if I'm a little slow in my reaction, please keep in consideration. We had about a 12, 13-hour day, and then we sedated ourselves with a couple of drinks afterwards, just to kind of balance out the day as well. So get started here in just a few minutes. All right. So today's discussion, discovering your real estate deals, no matter where we are. We're going to tie in some other things that are going on right now. Obviously, some updated news that came up over the past 24 to 48 hours is going to be highly impacting a lot of decision making. But first, let's recognize our sponsors. One, I'd like to thank Yordell Perkins with Perkatech, our social media strategist, and as I call him, Oz behind the drape. He facilitates this great podcast with me in a partnership, and we push it out on a weekly basis, getting it in front of as many real estate professionals as possible. We're here to support you with education, networking, SEO, strategy. So I want to thank him. I want to thank Linda Pelagas with Realty 411, another great collaborator and partner and sponsor of our group. She has been able to help us facilitate national events throughout the country, including California, Los Angeles, Denver, Colorado, Philadelphia, New York, Dallas, as well as Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So the big event coming up in this fall will be the Los Angeles one. We were talking about some other things, but right now that's what's on the game plan for her and Realty 411. And they usually attract close to 800 people at that event. Then I would like to thank MB Capital, who was also a speaker at our event yesterday, Nick DiFrederico and Michael D'Angelo. They are my referral partnership with unsecured business lines of credit for the LLC for business to business, whether it's for real estate or business. And then Lendmark Capital, your asset-based lending group. We provide 30-year fixed money up to 80% loan to value, 1 unit through 25 units, fixed to rent, fixed to flip, up to 90% on purchase, 100% on construction, up to 75% loan to value on ARV. We also provide new construction, and we also offer blanket portfolio loans as well as construction lines of credit. And very interesting changing of events coming up over the next several months. But I think this discussion helps us out a lot looking at the opportunities. When there's chaos, there's opportunities. So yesterday it really started off around 9 o'clock. We got rolling and we did some networking. We had a great MC with Yu Zarensky. I've re-engaged with a lot of people that I hadn't seen in quite a while, or had met some great new people that I hopefully will be able to help them build out their strategy in the real estate environment. So the location, the Mummer Museum, was awesome. The costumes that were in the museum area were just breathtaking, knowing that people walk down Broad Street with these type of costumes. But I think there was a lot of great information being provided. I think people are going to walk away feeling that they got something out of it. People stayed very engaged all throughout the time. And we're the only podcast and the only group here on Clubhouse. I have to brag for ourselves here. I want to thank everybody that's been so committed to being part of this. We're the only group that provides national events for its followers and registered contacts. We're the only Clubhouse group that provides complementary educational tools and spreadsheets to better pencil your deals down, we're now offering a referral and origination program for our engaged registered professionals. Now you can actually originate loans through Lendmark. So I send those out to you so you could learn how to originate loans and get good at what you do. So if you want to be a referral partner or an origination partner, a correspondent with us, you now have that opportunity. We're the only group that offers that. That is complimentary setup. We also offer CE accreditation for licensed real estate agents throughout the country on navigating asset-based lending. So we're really being very consistent in what we're doing. We're doing it with a high level of integrity, with a very low level of agenda, because we're service providers. So we're here to provide insight, education, and strategy, but yet we're here to provide the right tools to be a better real estate professional. And I think our discussion today will tie into how to be the better real estate professional in a tight market. Now, let's talk about this Israel-Iran conflict, what's going on here. And how do you think that's going to impact Monday morning on the market? I think the market's going to take a tanking. Already, inflationary numbers were throwing rates up. Rates were up about a quarter point by the end of this week, or 30 basis points. I have some high concerns that DFCR loans, like our base rate was 6.75. They went up about a quarter point. So our base rate is somewhere around 7%, 6.875. That's still a great rate. And that should not be a deterrent in understanding how to buy a good investment property. But what I'm concerned about is the conflict and what the Wall Street's going to react, and how, because of the oil tensions with Iran and Russia and Israel and the United States, how will that impact how we look at real estate right now, and how we will focus on the opportunity of off-market deals or inventory? Will inventory increase because of this? Will home buyers take a step back and rent in lieu of buying in the spring market? I have already felt that. I really feel that this is a true investor year, maybe an investor decade. But at least for the next 2 to 3 years, I think we're in the driver's seat in the opportunities of anything on the market right now today, because of asset-based lending has taken such a forefront in the lending landscape for self-employed entrepreneurs that are in the real estate space. So, Joseph, good morning and welcome. Thank you for being part of the group yesterday and making time to come in. Also want to thank SJ for being part of the event itself. We offer complimentary space to not-for-profit organizations, and I always appreciate their presence at an event that we host. But Joe, some thoughts to, one, the event yesterday, two, this Israeli-Iran tension environment, and how that's you think it's going to impact the financial markets, and how that will impact maybe buying decisions for homeowners versus investors.
Good morning, Joe. Good event yesterday. Had a good time there. Met a lot of people that I haven't seen in quite some time, and made new friends. So, all the purpose of networking, right? Yeah. Listen, this conflict. I when I got home last night, I started seeing all the news that was hitting on it, and it's going to be interesting to see how the markets play out. I was watching one financial YouTuber that I follow, and he went on live, and he's saying generally people all run to bonds at this time when stuff like this happens. So you may see a dip, but then eventually the bonds will catch up, and then you'll see the bond yield go up. So you might see a temporary dip in the bond, but then it's just going to be short lived, and then it's going to go right back up. So really interested to see how this plays out. That said, there's going to be opportunity in the market, right? And Joe, I'm sure you're gonna hold our hands throughout the way as the rates are going up and down, and with the dips and the ebbs and flows. So I'm gonna lean on you to provide that advice the whole way through, as this plays out, right?
So, I will have a helping hand, as you see my my emoji here. I feel rates are going to stay elevated. I feel home buying is there's high concerns. The people that are watching the news, okay, and not avoiding the news or staying abreast of it, they're going to be concerned about buying right now. Like, will the values drop because of what's going on here, the contentions, okay, and how this will lead into the presidential election? Will it be fair, and how that will impact our bottom line? Anybody you talk to, we need a reset in government, okay, to justify what we're doing here as real estate professionals. Or it's only going to get worse. And we could skirt around it all you want, but government right now is not supporting entrepreneurship. And with all these mini wars going on throughout the country, throughout the world right now, how will this impact us? I think people will take a sideline to ownership right now and really focus on. I have more people renting and owning investment properties than ever before. And I think some of this wartime environment where we have 3 or 4 mini wars going on throughout, maybe, and that's what we know of. There might be other wars that we don't even know about, that they're not telling us about. How is this going to impact the market? Which I will have Squawk Box on first thing in the morning, 6 a.m. when I'm at the gym and looking at what's going on in the market, and looking at the treasury notes, because I know it's going to be a shit show, throughout the day, and the discussions based on what's going on in the Middle East. So I think you're right. There'll be a blip in the market, and then we'll see where that goes. But I think we're still going to be somewhere between 7 and 8% on rates continuously going into the spring market, going into the summer. I don't think there's going to be much of a change that the Fed has any choice in. The Fed has to be neutral to this. They know where we're at financially and economically. The concerns of people worrying about their next paycheck, layoffs, conversions, banking restraints and constraints. I think this is a unique opportunity as a real estate agent, as a real estate service provider, as a real estate professional, to collaborate and reciprocate opportunities with one another nationally. And I think this is where you need to build out a good moat around the castle and really see who you want in your power team for successful opportunities in real estate deals. Because there is a mega amount of opportunity. There's way more money than ever than for deals. So the deal works and you're putting a round peg into a round hole, that's closing. If you need a partnership or a joint venture with someone to get that deal to close, this is a humbling time to be honest and open-minded to opportunity. And always use an attorney, always use a CPA. We are not here to give you that type of advice or advisory. Don't sue us. But this is an opportunity to build those relationships like never before. And sitting down with a lender to understand what a structure of opportunity looks like, where there's off-market deals and discovering new deals, is going to be extremely important. And this is not the time to get caught up with wasteful environments. This is the time to look at opportunities with people that are being transactional and looking at the opportunities ahead. And limit your distractions. Limit your distractions. This is the opportunity for a successful real estate entrepreneur to double, triple, or quadruple up their portfolio right now. Believe it or not. Justin, good morning. Sorry you couldn't make it here in Philadelphia. Just some thoughts on where you think. I know you sent me some information on New Orleans down in Louisiana, insurance impact, but we're going to segue to the Israeli-Iran tensions. How do you think this is going to impact your thought patterns, or some of the investors you're surrounding yourself with in the Louisiana market, or that southeast market? How do you think that's going to impact you now? Just seeing what's going on, what's the chatter in your world?
Well, Joe, honestly, man, I haven't heard a whole lot about it. My wife mentioned something that she had heard the other day, but I haven't read the articles on it. If you could give me a preface, I probably could give you a quick synopsis of my initial reaction of what I think will happen.
I think there's going to be some market shifts in rates. I think costs are going to have there's going to be some concerns on oil, of course. But I think how that will impact cost of goods, especially in the construction space could move, it could go up back again, maybe by 5 to 10% over this next quarter. How will that impact your bottom line as a general construction advisor, as well as a real estate broker in your market?
Well, I mean, honestly, man, I still would want a little bit more context, but I'll say this, if um, I think Louisiana market pretty, it's not as we don't suffer the blows that the majority of the country does, typically, right? We have our own issues sometimes. For example, the influx in the prices during COVID, right? We if some places saw an increase in price of maybe 25%, we might have seen an increase for a period of about 6 to 8 months of 10 to 12%, right? Something like that. So I think that's a little bit of a difference, in what we're talking about. I'll probably do a better job at, like I said, I watched a couple of news clips as to what's going on, and the recent changes that I haven't sat in front of the news in a couple of days. But Joe, I think the one thing I know about the Louisiana market is our values are based on how we can survive here, how our life is set up here. And, I noticed in larger metropolitan areas like Dallas or Houston and your New York and your Cali, and your other higher demand areas, they're much more impacted, right, by these decisions that are made and so on and so forth. For example, if the plants are still running and the employees in the plants are still employed, right, and the engineers are still employed, their neighborhoods are still fine. Their finances are still in the same thing. So, like I say, we're kind of based on how our state and the people here are situated. As long as our companies and the things that fund us remain consistent, I think that's going to keep consistent for most of us, as far as investors and so on and so forth. I think, based on the topic, it looks like you're going to come back to me later on where I'll talk about making sure you're buying right in the first place.
Yeah.
Next time. So, but I think that's what we're looking at. I think investors are looking at really moving strategically anytime because they have a lot more on the line, right? So they don't get to be spared even in Louisiana because their funding and other things might be based on a lender or something that's out of state who might be impacted, right? So it's just a couple of things that I'm still missing a little bit of info, Joe.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll dive into it as we go.
But also, I'm patching back.
Yeah, it's all good. I think the barrier of entry, like in the Louisiana and the Mississippi markets, the lower barrier of entry, the buy-ins. When you're at 50 or 60,000 a door in rent, and then have to renovate a property by 30, 40, 50 grand and push that value up above 120, you're kind of safe in those opportunities, especially like in where Justin is, New York State. I could pick a bunch of markets, Indianapolis. They're lower barriers of entry. They're not going to have impact. Indiana, I'm trying to think of some other areas. The Missouri market, the entire Missouri market, the Kansas City market, the Kansas market. These are low barriers. So they're not going to have the type of impact like the immediate East Coast markets or West Coast markets. Okay. But there's still opportunities within 60 minutes of where you live. Okay. And we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll dive in that now. You just have to know where to look, right? Today's competitive real estate market, as a real estate investor, you probably need to be familiar with some opportunities that put deals on the radar, right? So we're going to talk about some of the benefits and how to look at deals. And I think there'll be some agreements. And if anybody wants to invite themselves up, by all means, please join us. Looking at deals on the MLS there's still opportunities there. I don't want to knock the MLS. It serves a purpose. But there's definitely some eye candy on there especially if the property's on the market more than 60 days or 90 days. There's something going on with that property. Either it's not priced correctly, it's not being listed correctly by the listing agent, or there's a functional issue with that property. And that's where I smell opportunities for the MLS. And I think Joe and Justin would agree there, because one comes from a real estate agency perspective, one comes from a real estate investor perspective. I think there's still some great opportunities on the MLS, and I'm starting to see more opportunities. I've seen poorly listed properties by listing agents that were great opportunities, and they turned into really great rental opportunities because the agent did not know how to list the property. Especially, I see an opportunity in the 5 through 25 unit space, because if an agent falls on a deal like that, they typically do not know how to list it. I do find laughter in agents that try to use the term cap rate for 1 through 4 investment properties. That it's an oxymoron. Never do that if you're going to be a licensed agent and list properties 1 through 4 units, and do not use cap rate, because you look like an idiot. And there's nothing wrong with look like an idiot, but to the real estate professional, they'll think you're an idiot. So that's okay. Number 2, driving for dollars. This is another way of finding investment opportunities. Just getting into a car, driving around looking for vacant properties or blighted properties. Write down that address and then see and do some digging to that opportunity and research that address and finding who owns that property and start sending letters to them. When I was up in Syracuse this past week, I could actually see the properties that needed work. I could see the tired properties. And people are telling me that there's no opportunities there. I'm like, I just drove by 6 of them. Why are you knocking on those doors, knocking on the neighbors' doors and finding out what the real story is? I'm sure the neighbor next door has more than happy to tell you everything that's going on with that property. Believe me. I mean, there's properties in my neighborhood that I've been eyeballing, saying, hey, they're starting to get really tired looking. What's going on? Right? Let everybody know what you do. Okay? Everybody knows I'm a lender. Now, they might not know especially what my lane is of focus, but they know that I'm a lender. And I make it very crystal clear. So if you're a real estate professional looking for deals, you need to let everyone know on all your social media channels. Be consistent with it. Have a business card saying what you do and who you are and what is your why. Participate in real estate investor clubs. There is an investment event, whether online or live, every day of the week. There's very little excuse for you not to be able to network and identify opportunities locally, regionally, or nationally where there's deals. Direct mail marketing, sending letters direct via mail. There's different CRMs that you can identify off-market deals. Where do you think the wholesalers are getting all these off-market deals, realtors? They're spending 10 times more money on marketing than you are. Day one. Your brokers are giving you bad advice. You need them to spend money to make money. And if you don't have that money, you need to partner with a wholesaler or wholesalers and partner with them on the deals they can't wholesale and they need to list, and cut your deals. Identify pre-foreclosure properties. People that haven't paid a mortgage in the last 30, 60, or 90 days, there's lists out there. Find them. Show up also at the courthouse steps. Sheriff sales, tax sales. Why aren't you at the sheriff sale every month? Why aren't you handing your card out all to the 20 or 30 people that are there? Eventually, somebody needs to list that property, flip that property, whatever. You want to be part of that. A real estate investor is impressed when you're there with them in the trenches. Why aren't you there? Also, checking out eviction records. I'm sure there's people been here that have at least evicted somebody once or twice. Do your due diligence. When the property is for rent, or somebody's being evicted, somebody's not making money. They might want to dump that property and let you do the dirty work. Posting ads on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, like just a little incentive understanding of who you are, what you're trying to accomplish. Another area is searching like Facebook Marketplace. There's always little opportunities there. And getting and understanding tax liens. They're only a couple times a year. You could do your research. Go to a tax lien auction. Understanding it is very important. Now they take a little longer. It's a little more waiting for the shoe to drop, but there's definitely opportunities there. Put a sign in your yard, or just putting some banded signs throughout the area. They're going to disappear after a while, but you might get that one call, and banded signs are so inexpensive now. Now, I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking heavily about this. I'm trying to figure out the best impactful marketing to this is renting a billboard. With financial restraints right now, billboard advertising is an opportunity for real estate professionals because there's not as many companies out there looking to spend that kind of money. Getting magnetic signs for your car. Maybe even creating a radio commercial. Radio is inexpensive now comparatively to a lot of other advertising because not as many people are on the radio. Looking for sale by owners. For sale by owner, for rent by owner are huge. I had a loan officer that reported to me for several years. Every Sunday, he'd go out and pick up all the newspapers locally and regionally. And he'd call every for rent in those advertisements. He would get more leads for loans from those for rent advertisements than anything else. He'd get 5 to 10 closings a month from just calling those leads. That's a lot of money. That's a couple $1 million in loans. I mean, people would be coming in. They'd have portfolios of 10, 15, 20 properties. It was crazy. Old school. For somebody that's advertising in the for rent newspapers is not your typical investor. They're old school, meaning they still do old school things. They still talk to people on the phone. They're not into texting. They're into communication. And maybe browsing some expired listings. But I'd wait. I'd let all the animals call and harass these people for the first 30 to 60 days. I'd call a lot of those expired listings maybe 60 days out. I wouldn't be the first one calling those people. They're getting barraged by 15 to 20 people in 15, 20 directions. But once they settle down and the dust settles, there might be some opportunities there. Telling your family and friends, and then their friends. Maybe using some newspaper advertisement. Maybe using a landlord magazine or RIA magazine. Writing a blog. I write several articles a week on LinkedIn and Facebook and some of these other social media buckets. Making sure your website is search engine optimized. Like I have my own personal website, josephscarice.com, josephescarice.com, creativebirdstrategies.com. Pay for ads. But this is the thing. Pay for ads specifically. Don't just pay for random ads on various social media buckets. You'll never know which ones where the business is coming from. Do some Facebook ads, do some Instagram ads, do some Google ads, do some LinkedIn ads, but do one series at a time because then you'll know where a lot of this is coming from. Again, partnering with wholesalers is very important. Partnering with commercial real estate brokers is very important, especially if you're a licensed residential agent, because you might not be that proficient with these 5 through 25 units. You typically don't know how to evaluate them. You're not proficient with them. Nobody's training you in your offices with that. So there's definitely a disconnect. Going to real estate auctions. Looking at probate listings and networking nationally. Something like this or some other sites that have great, directions of meeting people throughout the country. And I keep telling people I meet the best opportunities for myself locally at the local zoning meetings, neighborhood meetings, and community meetings, council meetings. I get to see who's losing and winning. I see the people that are engaged in their community, They know where there's bad properties right now. Being part of the community is very important. And you'll always see at a zoning meeting a realtor or a real estate agent on one of those zoning boards because they want to be in the know of opportunities. Joseph, some thoughts to our discussion this morning, discovering your real estate deals, no matter where they are. Joseph going once. Joseph going twice. I think he has a personal thing going on at the house. We'll come back to him. Justin, some thoughts to discovering your real estate deals, no matter where they are.
Yeah, definitely, Joe. I always kind of start with this, right? You need to be thinking with the end in mind when you're investing, right? So you kind of need to have a roadmap as to where you're going. I would say that. And you really need to fine tune that, right? Once you have your roadmap, you really want to take the safest route. And when you hear news like this, you have the presidential election coming up, when there potentially could be political shifts. We're coming out of for most of us, once in a lifetime experience with the market. And this is just you ought to be in the mind of being cautious. And so, really conservative deals that are safe plays, things that you can look back a decade or two for. So if you're looking at anything that's multifamily, right, something like that, definitely the condition of the building you need to be considered. All expenses, right? You need to hammer down on your expenses, every last one of them, almost to the cent, right? Where you really can't, because some things change. But my point is, you need to be really confident in the amount of money that whatever said investment is will cost you, so you can be confident in the barriers and the parameters put aside to make sure you have that income to support that investment, right? Through the fluctuation. So if I have 10, 15, 20 doors, and I'm bringing in, let's say the doors average $900 a month, right? But I'm netting on average $400 a month per door, then I need to be able to make sure I'm still strong at about $200 a month. So just being real cautious with the underwriting if you're looking to make moves, because when things shift, they can shift to the left or they can shift to the right. And so that's that. I mean, I'll really be cautious, really be scientific with what you're buying. Do the safe stuff and not the risky stuff right now. That's just kind of what I think when we're in a moment of unsurety.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to add something to what Justin said. I personally think right now, like, I have probably close to 100,000 emails, phone numbers, contact names, the whole thing, maybe more. I don't really count anymore. I kind of lost count in a good way, because I let Yordell take care of that, and he minds that for me. That's not what my specialty is. I stay in my lane. I just make rain. So I'm a rainmaker. Okay. I'm a connector. I'm an introduction liaison in my space. So my thoughts to this is, if you're trying to talk to 50 to 100, at least making 50 to 100 calls a day, I'll just use a number like that. There's no way that you can physically just dial that. You need a phone dial. You need to look into making 50 to 100 calls a day. So I collaborate with a couple of my real estate professionals with my database, and there's about 14 people that work in referral partnership with me. They're making 50 to 100 calls a day on behalf of Joseph Scarice at Lenmark Capital, and then selling the unsecured business line of credit idea for them as a real estate professional. So I'm knocking two birds out with one stone, because if they qualify for the unsecured business lines of credit, they also qualify for a loan with me at Lenmark Capital. So why aren't you calling all these people that you're dumping all this content into an auto dialer and calling 20 to 30 calls a day? Start at 8 a.m., go till 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Boom, boom, boom. And get committed to that, whether it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday through Friday. That starts your day. Like, every day I get up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and I go to the gym for an hour. Every day. I don't really try to take a day off. I'm committed to a healthy lifestyle. So you need to be committed to discovering real estate deals every day. There's not, back in the 19th century, nobody had weekends off. They just worked. It was just, there was not this regimented Monday through Friday. They instilled that in us. Okay. That's why I have my podcast on Saturdays and Sundays, because I'm working my ass off, working with clients from a regimented environment, discovering opportunities from 8 a.m. in the morning till 8 p.m. in the evening. Whether I'm making my 20 to 30 calls a day, whether I'm trying to discover opportunities from a lending landscape for the client, partnering with individuals. So you, as a real estate agent or real estate professional, your top partnership is a wholesale. Maybe it's a realtor wholesale that's spending money and marketing in the right way to understand and identify opportunities. That's the strategy. And you can start that any time. You can go to a real estate investor club and walk out with 10 wholesalers. Build your bullpen. I used to listen to the fan in the middle of the night when I used to have an overnight position back in my early 20s. And the most important part of a baseball team is pitching, and more pitching. So you need pitchers to avoid home runs, singles and doubles, and triples. You need good pitching. Who's your pitcher in the real estate landscape? A wholesaler. Who's another good contact in discovering off-market real estate deals? I'm still not even at a real estate agent yet. Contractors, maintenance individuals, button-up guys, property management companies. They know who's faltering. They know where the deals are. Real estate agents now are signing protection on their leads that they're giving to property management companies, because these property management companies are the first ones to know when somebody's not doing well with a property. So that realtor wants that deal back. They don't want to give that deal back to the property management company. They're technically real estate brokers. So you're basically giving your client to somebody else when you're handing off that property management opportunity. You're giving it away. You're just throwing it out in the wind. So if you don't sign a protection to what you're doing with that client, you lose that client forever. There's no more deals. There's no more off-market opportunities. So if you're a licensed real estate agent right now, I align with a property management company piece. If the real estate office has a property management division, I'd bury deep into those. Those are where the off-market portfolio opportunities are. That's where the off-market blighted properties are, the bad landlords, the slumlords, and that's where you can get in. Also, good insurance agents that are working with commercialized insurance for real estate investors. They know when deals are going sideways. I'm still not a real estate agent in discovering off-market deals. What I'm trying to give you right now is what a real estate agent should be doing, what a real estate professional should be doing, or what a real estate professional should be expecting to identify these deals off-market. This is what we do here. We're not selling flim-flam. I'm giving you an honest and direct approach on discovering deals. You might not like it, and that's okay. This too shall pass. I might upset you, and this too shall pass as well. And you could leave the room as well, and that's fine. But I'm giving you an honest approach in identifying deals. I get people to call me, hey, I got this great deal off market. Well, what's the after repair value? What's the repair costs? And what's the buying number? They can't answer me those three questions. So how do you think you have a deal? I had this realtor. She's never followed up with me to meet. She's blown me off on phone calls, but she's more than happy to email me when she thinks she has a deal. She sends me this deal that she thinks she has. I said, so what's the after repair value? I don't know. What's the repair cost? I have no idea. So how do you know it's a deal? Well, you just think because the person's in foreclosure? Maybe they're upside down and you want to go upside down with them. The real estate agents need to understand a deal, what a real deal is. Because a real estate professional knows better than you right now. Because nobody's teaching this from the real estate agency perspective right now. How to identify an opportunity. Justin?
Yeah. I was gonna say, what's the thing? First thing I was gonna say was, with regards to what you were mentioning earlier, it's a place to find, you know, easy picking, right? If somebody, okay, let's just put it in perspective. If I'm older and I have older ways, right, that might be a good place to look. You mentioned looking in the newspaper. Now, I happen to know about this because I think it's just because I got my license in 2011 from an old, and I went to, my broker was kind of an old school broker who did a lot of magazine newspaper ads. That's who you're going to pick up. You're going to pick up those landlords who are, you know, you have a better chance of doing your bar from. You have a better chance of striking a deal because they made their money. And I just was gonna, go into that and some other strategies, right? That where you can focus on people who are willing to exit, and they may not be as pressed as somebody in foreclosure, but I think that's a good thing, right? Because that leaves more room for negotiation on your end and flexibility on their end. So I think that's a real golden nugget to kind of pay attention to. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
And you got to stay. Well, what you're saying is you got to be focused, right? You got to fill your days. Being busy doesn't always mean you're making money. I know a lot of people that are very busy and are broke. Okay, because they don't know how to justify their time, the cost benefit to time. If you're not getting stuff done, get up earlier. If you're not getting stuff done, add a day to your work week. If you're not getting stuff done, maybe you need to surround yourself with a different team. You can fire people at any time because the opportunities off market are with so many people in your power team. Like I met somebody at an event in Lehigh Valley when I taught CE for licensed real estate agents this past Thursday evening. Gentleman came up to me and says, I have an opportunity in this area. I said, I know a buyer in that area. I put him in touch with the individual that can buy that property. That deal's closing in the next 20 days and I'm financing it. That's how easy it was. Now, it's not always that easy because I don't have contacts in every place in the market in the country, but it was an easy sell. And that property was in a whole nother state, whole nother area. Fine. He was confident enough to come up to me and say, Joe, I have an opportunity here. Do you know somebody? What did it take me? I literally flipped it to my client. They communicated, it's sold. That's how this works. You're one person away from the opportunity. I believe everybody's one person away from the right person. I mean, there's just go ahead.
That deal I sent you over the week to just take a glance at.
You need to email me that. I couldn't find that, Justin. You got to email that to me directly.
Okay.
I got lost. I got lost in the Instagram messages. I don't know where it went.
Okay. But you just text me the one you want me to.
Sure.
But that one, it's a little creative deal. It's a deal where I don't even have to do the acquisition. Basically, a lady she's not going to make any money for her property in the condition that it's in. So fix it up. So obviously, and then she's going to sell it. So this opportunity came to me from one of my agents. I'm a licensed broker, so one of my agents brought me this opportunity. She knows that I fixed up property, done some flips, blah, blah, blah. And I've been looking for. Usually, I have the funding to do this myself. But if you've been listening, you know that I have a couple of projects that kind of have me tied up a little bit. And this is a good opportunity to help me work my way out, get back going, amongst the other things that I have working my way out. So long story short, I've been looking for the funding to do the construction for this through a couple of connects. And a wholesaler hit me up the other day and we had a good conversation about a deal that he had. I didn't think it was much of a deal, but I did mention to him this opportunity, and he connected me with somebody who's looking at, potentially providing me funding. We'll see how that goes. We'll hear about it next week. But yeah, that just goes to show the power of. I think the difference is with wholesalers. It's not just the marketing. It's the so they have to master negotiations. They have to go out there and connect with people, not just on both sides of the fence, but they have to connect specifically with strategic people because their whole, you know, the whole, the way they make money is being strategic, essentially. And so I think that's a big part of what they have to learn. And the better wholesalers are, they're going to learn these numbers before they send them out. And, some of them are going to just try it and send it out anyway. Allow your feedback to do the negotiation. Sometimes that's how they do on purpose. Just to get you engaged. But overall, I would say anybody in that field who's doing, you see consistently in the rooms with other investors, and not just investors, right? People providing services to the investors, right? I think that lenders are some of the best in GCs and lenders because you got to go get the money all the time. And most of the time, you go and get the money. People are doing everything cash. And somebody's got to fix it up. Somebody's got to maintain it. So those are two of the best resources to find credible people, right, who are consistently doing things in the industry that you count on. So,
well, listen, you need to sit down with a wholesaler and pick their brain, several of them, because not all of them know what the heck they're doing. You really need to understand how they're doing their direct mail marketing. You might need to partner with them or invest with them. Listen, the old school calling expireds, that is like you can't depend on that. You really can't depend on that. Everybody else is doing it. You're going with the whole school of fish. You need to look outside the box. You need to look at a phone dialer to making 50 to 100 calls a day. Okay, not just using your phone. You got to use a phone dialer. So you need to understand where to identify that. You need to understand how the direct mail marketing. You got to start knocking on 5 to 10 doors a day. You got to go to events that you're not comfortable with because that's probably the best place to go. Get your ass to a council meeting, get your ass to a zoning meeting, get yourself to a community meeting in your market and mine your market. People there know where there's deals are. They're not even in the real estate place. They know where bad places are. They know where bad owners are. I can tell you I got a bad owner on my block. Everybody wants to get rid of them. The property's got woods coming up in the backyard. There's rats. There's all things. Anybody would love to see these people leave. They want them to go. I walk down the block and a half when I go for a walk with my wife, and I see 2 properties right in a row. I've been knocking on those doors all the time saying, hey, man, can I help you guys sell this property? I want to buy it. No, I'm not ready yet. I stop by every couple months. I smell blood. I see it. It's very visual. It's not hard to kind of not identify a good deal. I see a for rent by owner. It's all shagged up and it's done with marker. That person is in a spot where they're not dependent upon other people. Give them a call. Hey, I see your for rent is the property for sale. Oh, I never thought about that. It's empty right now. You're not making any money. Somebody else, you're paying the heat. You're paying the electric. Might be time to go. Anybody ever think about going after a free and clear list? Properties that are free and clear. There's the most amount of advantage in buying a property there. Free and clear. If it's free and clear, there's room for negotiation, seller financing, unloading the property at discount, hoteling the property, maybe taking it down yourself with a direct private lender and pushing it back out, throwing a little lipstick on the property. Why aren't you looking at that? How about this?
The key there.
Yep. Go ahead.
The key there, right, is most times those properties have already paid their owner.
Of course.
Right. So they're happy to get rid of them. I think that's a key thing. You just gotta pay, and all of this goes back to things that you gotta remember. You can't be so abrasive with people who may not. You gotta develop your level of understanding from a bunch of different angles for you to even see this. And I think that's what it might be obvious to me, might be obvious to you, Joe, but it's gonna take experience, and this is something YouTube can't teach you necessarily. So it's gonna take experience, and it's gonna take knowing your market and the people and the investors in your market and how they operate as well. But don't miss that.
Well, you got to be consistent too, Justin. I don't think people understand advertising themselves to looking for opportunities is a consistent thing. Okay. For the individuals that go to church on Sundays, church is every day. It's not just on Sundays. Church is every day. It's the two major in our industry, the two biggest letters are C and C, consistency and continuity. Somebody that's committed to doing something every day is doing more than 90% of the people around them. So from identifying opportunities that are off market, you got to be at it every single day. And if you don't have somebody to team up with, identify somebody to team up with. And if it's a wholesaler, fine. If it's a property management company, that's fine. A maintenance group, a contractor. I'm going to have coffee with this insurance agent that's very active in the market. I find something unique with him. He said a couple things that caught my ear yesterday. I followed up with him immediately. I'm going to try to set up a coffee meeting with him Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think there's something there. I think there's an opportunity for us to either collaborate or work on something together. I'm trying to be more specific in opportunities. Now, on my side, I'm looking for opportunities to acquire. I'm also looking at opportunities to lend upon. But I know what I want to acquire, but I know what I lend on. I'm very specific in what I lend on. I know my lane. You need to figure out what your lane is and burrow through that. If you're not comfortable working with wholesalers, that's fine. Then maybe you're not made out to be an investor-friendly realtor, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. When I am at these like expos and a realtor comes up, hey, do you work with investors? Yeah, no. Well, then you're not somebody I want in my team. And I shouldn't be in your team. We're wasting each other's time. I just want to make sure there's a cost benefit relationship that you understand. And that's okay. You don't even need to take my card, because if you don't work with investors, that's all I work with. I'll save you the step. Take a piece of candy and move on to the next table. I'm very specific in my intentions, and I'm very direct because I know what I want to do. I know where my passion falls. So from identifying off-market deals, you need to surround yourself with the right opportunities where nobody else is going after. Like, when's the last time you've been at a real estate auction? When's the last time you've been to a tax sale? When's the last time you've been to a zoning meeting in your market? When's the last time you sat down and had coffee with a wholesaler? Or the last time you've gone to a wholesaling networking investor group where there's only wholesalers in the room? Why haven't you gone there? All these you could technically stay busy 7 days a week networking with people and turning that into opportunity. Why aren't you dumping all the people that you're meeting into your CRM and networking and hitting them up with an email once or twice a week? Why aren't you doing that? Yardell and I we have a 70% open rate on our email blasting because we're very focused in what we send out now. The average rate for opening on an email blast is 31.5%. We're at 70. We're doing something correct. I don't need to be the biggest group here on Clubhouse. I don't have to have the biggest podcast. I don't have to have all these little pieces of the pie of social media. What I'm doing is very consistent and plucking small little foxholes around to build my team. Phone call here to follow up. Following up with 3 or 4 people I haven't talked to in the last 6 months or the the last 12 months or the last 24 months. I'm having lunch with somebody I haven't seen in several years on Monday. And we're adamant. I can't help him right now, but he can't help me. But maybe once we have lunch, we walk away with that opportunity. It's lunch. I don't eat much anymore. Anyway, I know what I eat now. I'm very specific in what I eat. So I know our talk is going to be 60 minutes. Hopefully we walk away with opportunities with one another. I'm going to try to reach out with that insurance agent and have a 30-minute conversation with him and see how we can collaborate. Maybe no one's ever had that conversation. The underlying opportunities are within your eyesight. You're just not opening your eyes correctly to those opportunities. Ellis, good morning. Thank you for coming up. Brief overview, who you are, what you do, and thoughts to the discussion this morning, discovering your real estate deals no matter where they are. Ellis? Ellis, we can't hear you, Ellis. If you're talking, we can't hear you. You there? Come back up and come leave and then come back up. Are you there, Justin?
Yeah, I was saying it looked like he was trying to.
Yeah, we can't hear him for some reason. Sorry, Ellis. If you want to leave and then come back in, I'll bring you back up. Can't hear you. Sorry about that, Ellis. We'll try to get you back up another time. Let me see if I invite you here. See if that works. Try that out. Ellis, are you there? Nope. Can't hear you, Ellis. We'll have to try another time.
I'll leave in the room or closing the app real quick.
Yeah, that's what usually happens. Ellis usually gives some great words of suggestion. So listen, we're here to kind of give you insight, strategy. We're a different type of group here on Clubhouse. We always have been. We're going to stay that way. We have a very unique podcast. Maybe it's time to do a video interview and get it out there in front of your network. I'm more than happy to provide a complimentary video marketing tool for you. We do that through Percatech and our podcast. So anybody that's engaged, want to hold me to that, we can set it up on a Saturday or Sunday. We put 8 to 10 questions together. I interview you. We cut it. We edit it. We push it out. You can push it out and share it to your network. It's an opportunity to get exposure, to understand who you are. Ellis, are you there? Still can't hear Ellis. I don't know what's going on. Very sorry, Ellis. So, we're here every Saturday morning, every Sunday morning. Saturdays 8 a.m., every Sunday morning 9:30 a.m. We have subject matter scheduled out 30 to 45 days in advance. They all follow a specific subject to that discussion. We offer underwriting tools and educational tools and worksheets for anybody that's interested in being provided that. We're now offering origination referral programs where you could be an originator with us, where you could actually conduct loans for clients of yours. So if anybody interested in that as well, that's a very unique opportunity. You don't need a license. You can work under mine. It's all non-QM, so it's all investor. We now offer CE accreditation for licensed real estate agents on navigating through asset-based lending. It's a book that I published and turned it into a CE course, and I can fly out or visit any real estate investor group or association to provide 3 credits for real estate agents in your market, in your state. So currently I have about 3 or 4 classes already scheduled. And now we have podcast services here through Burr Strategies on Clubhouse. We have our own website, Creative Burr Strategies, as you can see above. And then we now offer the opportunity to market your services through a video production through the podcast. And we're a little over 30 podcasts so far. We get about 1,000 downloads a month. But the opportunity for you sharing your who you are and what your why is, I think is more important. And we're now also facilitating events nationally throughout the country. We just completed our great event here in Philadelphia at the Mummy Museum. We've had events in New York, Fort Lauderdale, Dallas, Texas, Los Angeles, Denver. So we're doing a lot of unique opportunities with our sponsors, our collaborators, our supporters. So if we can help you in opportunities to find those off-market deals, give you insight. If you want to have a 15-minute discussion in strategy, I'm here to provide that if need be. We obviously would need to schedule that, but there's an opportunity of building out your power team with hopefully the information that we're providing here every Saturday and Sunday morning. I'm not usually on here at all during the week. I might pop in just to add a subject matter or something like that for the Saturday or Sunday event, but we want to keep our room very unique, very consistent, and very continuous. And that's what you need to do to identify these off-market deals. So if any of these opportunities that we discussed this morning with Justin and Joe briefly impact how you should look at opportunities in your market, you should start doing that. So I want to thank everybody for their engagement this morning. We're at 10:30. We've provided 60 minutes of really great content. Justin, your outro and thoughts to our discussion this morning, discovering your real estate deals, no matter where they are.
Great discussion. I think we talked about a bunch of stuff, but just keep your eyes open and look. Educate yourself on different strategies and keep some consistent professionals around you as a lender, GC, and consistent realtors. They don't have to know it all as a realtor. It's your job as an investor to know it, and you should be able to tell them what information to go and gather for you to put together for yourself as an investor. So keep all of that in mind as well. But great discussion.
Justin, thank you. As always, he's been a great supporter of this group from the get-go. This is sometimes a big piece of humble pie, some of these discussions. And, this helps me revigorate myself in getting myself back on track sometimes. I need this Sunday morning event to get me going for the rest of to start the week right, or this Saturday event to get the week right. We still had a podcast yesterday during the event. So, like I said, we're here to provide consistent strategy, education, and networking. I want to thank our sponsors today: Landmark Capital, Realty 411, MB Capital, and Percatech. So everybody have a blessed Sunday morning. My quote this morning, I'd like you to think about it. Coach me and I will learn. Challenge me and I will grow. Believe in me and I will win. We'll see you in the streets of Clubhouse. We'll see you next week, Saturday and Sunday morning. And I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds. Thank you, guys.